Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm on my way to the dealership because last night, I actually haven't drove my car in a couple days, and I went to go drive it last night, and the digital gauge cluster that they just replaced a month and a half ago is not working. Not only that, but I think the car might have gotten an over-the-air update and screwed something up bad, because I don't have a heads-up display anymore. The digital gauge cluster doesn't work, so I can't tell my speed or the charging level. I can try to tell the charging level because the Uconnect system still works, and I can actually use Google Maps to tell me my speed, but I have to dig through the actual system to be able to see what my charging level's at. But my warning lights for my blind spot monitoring are stuck on, and not only that, if I put my blinker on, I don't know if the blinkers are working. The other thing is the car is stuck in the drive by pedal mode. So usually I put it in creep mode. Creep mode means it runs like a conventional car, where basically when I come to a stop, if I let off the brake, it will start rolling forward. Every time I put it in creep mode, let me show you real quick because I'm at a light. I'll show you. If I go to electric vehicle, this is creep mode. See, it'll basically act like a conventional car. If I turn it on, it will automatically go back to the off position. So again, I don't know what happened. Something definitely happened in the last couple of days of letting the car sit. But I just took it to a trip down to Indiana. I did a couple road trips with it. I absolutely love the way this thing drives. I love this car. But yeah, just a little electrical gremlins. And it seems like every time they do some kind of over-the-air update, which they used to tell you when they would do an over-the-air update, and then like after the first two, they quit telling us. So I don't know if something happened. I don't get any warnings. Again, I just got in the car last night and it's like, okay, no digital gauge cluster was working. So I ended up taking the wife's 4xe, which was fine. And now I don't have a heads-up display either. So something's definitely weird, because again, the warning lights for the blind spot monitoring on full time. It won't do a lot of the electrical thing, like a lot of the safety equipment. So I don't know if a module went through an error or something. So we'll have to see when we get to the dealer. Hopefully, they'll give me a rental and get this thing back to me in a couple of days, because I do love driving it. All right, everybody, I just left the dealer. Everything is back working the way it's supposed to. Originally, they were going to take and give me supposedly a rental car, but they didn't have any. So they ended up pushing this to the front of the line. And basically, I believe they did a reset of the 12-volt system. And that seemed to work everything. Creep mode is working now. It's engaged. I don't have any blind spot warning lights stuck on. The gauge cluster works fine. The heads-up display works fine. And I talked to a few other people who own Charger Daytonas, and it seemed like they were all kind of having weird issues too this morning. So maybe they did an over-the-air update. I just wish that if Dodge does over-the-air updates, they would tell you in the screen like they did originally. Like, hey, this vehicle is going to go for an over-the-air update, hit OK, and then it would do it. But they just do it randomly without warning you. And like, I don't know if it was that. They didn't say if it was that, but they got to basically have me come back anyways on Wednesday, because they originally, when they put this new screen in, they forgot to put the cover back on. So you can see my steering column, which looks terrible, but it's been like a month, and I've been so busy with going on these different things for work and everything. I haven't had time to take it back. So next Wednesday, they're going to have to tear this all apart to fix that. So God only knows. But yeah, the car drives great, and it seems like every time I defend this car, something stupid happens to it. And again, a lot of it is the Atlantis electrical architecture in these cars. It's not just this car, it's basically every product that they use with this Atlantis electrical architecture. The Ram 1500, when it went through its mid-cycle update, it got it. That had like issues. Just seems like every vehicle they've launched with this new electrical architecture, yeah, the security is better. I mean, it's harder to steal these things now, but again, it's something with these things that are just buggery. But I really hope they fix this. I mean, my car is a 25 car. I mean, they've got the 26s out, but still, they actually have 27s arriving in dealers right now. But again, it's just kind of like frustrating once in a while when you have these small issues and then they kind of add up. But the big thing is people ask me, well, why didn't you just pull the 12-volt system, yourself and, just do it yourself at your house? I pay for this to be a lease. This is Stellantis' car. It's not mine. I'm not going to do anything that would void the warranty or anything under the leasing deal that I have with Stellantis. So the best thing about the lease thing is they deal with all the maintenance of the car. I don't have to do that. That's the reason why I'm not pulling stuff. I want to go through the same stuff that a normal person that doesn't have any knowledge of cars would go through. So again, this is purposely, I do this, I don't want to let people think like, oh yeah, you're just complaining about it. No, this is the kind of stuff that I wanted to go through to begin with. So anyways, I'm glad everything's got, back and it's running good. Again, it drives awesome. I love this car, the way it drives and everything. It's just the stupid buggery stuff with every once in a while. So it could be the window not going down or actually sucked down. It could be this, digital gauge cluster not working. I mean, it's just weird stuff. So hopefully Dodge irons it out. This is a good car. I think, once people actually drive it and actually understand the 8th generation Dodge Charger, they'll actually really like the car. I'm not a huge fan of the whole tablet shit. Like, I really wish that, automakers would get rid of this tablets crap and go back to analog gauges. I like analog gauges. They have more of a design kind of look to them where it looks like they actually put thought into it. This is just TV screens. And again, this morning, with not having this working, I couldn't tell how fast I was going, and it makes the car illegal to drive because you're supposed to have a speedometer by law. So to me, it's just stupid. I mean, I like the old school stuff. I understand why they do it because of all the new technology and whatnot, and everything's hooked up together, but it's just not my thing. So, hey everybody, this is another trip to the dealer. This is a scheduled trip though. Just a few days after we went to the dealer last week for that blank screen issue, and basically they had to reset the car, but they didn't have a chance to fix what they had done before, where they didn't put the actual steering column cover back over. And come to find out, the day that I took this to the dealer, there was another massive update for the car. So they wanted to schedule the car for that. So it's going in to get that fixed, as well as go get this major update. So this is going to be the most latest software that's going to go into the car, and it's supposed to fix almost every single thing. Where the last one did pretty much fix everything, there's still little hiccups here and there, but this one is the next version of it. So again, they're working hard at getting this car, all the issues ironed out, and we'll see how it does in a couple of days when we get it back from the dealer. But luckily they're providing me with a rental, so we'll see what vehicle they actually supply me with. And again, I still love the car. It's just frequent little dealer trips to make sure everything's updated. So gotta love software. All right, so we're on our way back to the dealer to drop this off. I have to go fill it up first, but they actually called me on Friday to tell me my car was ready, but I was at Roadkill Nights at the media day, so unfortunately I didn't have time. But they're like, hey, you can have the rental till Monday morning. So I'm like, sweet. So we're on our way back. My car is supposedly fixed. They did basically the last major update, which is kind of funny because when I ran through all the issues with the screen not working, the heads-up display, and the blind spot monitoring and blinkers and stuff not working, they did a hard reset and the car ran fine home. Brought it back in, and basically this latest, it was funny, the day that all that stuff happened, they released the newest major software update for the car. So everybody's been wondering where the heck the Jeep Recon is, the 2026 Jeep Recon, it's supposed to be in dealers by now. But the honest reason why they haven't released it yet is they've been working on the software for these vehicles. So the Recon, the Wagoneer S, and Charger Daytona all share the same platform, electrical architecture, EDMs, all the stuff. So they're fixing everything. So you got to remember, Carlos Tavares came in back in, 2024, and fired 2% of the North American workforce, consisting of electrical engineers and software engineers, when they were launching two of their all-new, basically EVs, and an all-new electrical architecture across several different models. And then they outsourced everything. So the cars were launched late, launched with bad software updates and stuff, and they've been fixing them constantly. So again, I don't know if my car went through an over-the-air update, sitting in my driveway for the last the few days that I left it, but something happened where it basically just needed to be reset. So this new update is supposed to solve all of that. So it's supposed to be one of the last updates too for a while. So again, hopefully we'll be seeing recon soon, because if this update is for my car, it's going to be for that too. So we're coming up to the dealer right now, but we'll see. I'm going to go check out the car, fill this up. And again, I haven't filled up a truck in a while, like at least a couple of months, because I haven't had a Ram to fill up in what, since, I don't know, probably June. So, and that, it was like right when gas was starting to get expensive. So we'll see how gas prices are at Costco. So it's kind of funny. I spent $53 to basically drive 200 miles in this Ram, which is kind of crazy because my Dodge Charger Daytona, I can basically charge to 100% from zero in that. And I'm not wearing my seatbelt because the dealer is like right next door. So I'm actually dropping the truck off right now, and we will be picking up the Charger very, very soon. All right, so I just got back in it. Has the software update, and they fixed the leather boot, so thank God for that. So I told them hopefully I don't have to see you for a long, long time. So I'm hoping that this latest software update, which it says it should, fix 99.9% of the issues that were left. So hopefully we'll see over the next couple of weeks how this thing does with the latest software. Again, if you have a Dodge Charger Daytona or a Wagoneer S, make sure to check in with your dealer and make sure that you get the latest updates. It helps the ownership experience tremendously. I know the dealerships are frustrated with these cars because they take a lot of time to, basically set up to do the updates, and they take 2 hours and they take one of their bays. But it's your car. It's your ownership experience. Make sure that you get those done, because again, you'll enjoy the car way more. So anyways, we'll take in keep looking out for if anything's wrong with the car over the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned. But other than that, I'm getting on the road and heading back home to do some more work. So I will see you guys later. Bye. So I just wanted to show you guys, because of the difference between paying for that Ram and gas and this. When I got here, this had 47%. Now, there was a guy in a Cadillac Escalade IQ that pulled up, and he accidentally, I was at 94%. I was going to let it charge all the way up. But he accidentally disconnected my car because he pressed the wrong button. So anyways, I'm at 94%. So basically I spent $20.84 to charge from 47% to 94. Now keep in mind that 47% to 94 gets me roughly about 120 plus miles. Because I live in the city, I am getting way better range than what Stellantis actually says, because I'm stopping and going all the time. So again, I'm paying probably about half of what it cost to fill up a Ram with this. And this is actually expensive for an EV because of the range being so low, because it's not a jelly bean kind of car. It's kind of like a brick in the wind compared to like Teslas and stuff.